This is the full length lesson on A, the A major. If you saw the short, I showed you how to play an A. There's only so much I can do in 60 seconds, right? Let's spend a few minutes and I'll show you some really cool things to do with an A chord. First thing, you'll play an A chord. There's several ways to do it. You can play fingers 1, 2, and 3, like this. You can play it with fingers 2, 3, and 4, like this, and that's the way I encourage you or would prefer you to learn it. And the big reason for that is because as you start making bar chords, if you learn to play an A like this, then when you want to play a B, you move up 2 frets and you have to use these fingers and use that one for a bar. It feels like a completely different chord. If you start making an A with fingers 2, 3, and 4, then when it's time to make the A-shaped bar chords, all you're doing is sliding your hand up. You're used to this. Be a little awkward getting finger number 1 accustomed to the bar. But it's easier to make that transition if you'll start out learning the A shape using fingers 2, 3, and 4. So I encourage you to do that. But the A, on the 4th string, you press the 2nd fret. On the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And on the 2nd string, the 2nd fret. Strum the bottom 5. And that is an A chord. That's an A major. Now from there, probably an A minor would be an easy transition. To go to the A minor, we start with our A shape, pick up finger number 4 off the 2nd string, and place finger number 1 on the 2nd string at the 1st fret. So the movement you go from A would be to here. The 2nd string, that would be the 2nd fret to the 1st fret. And it'll give you this sound. Minor chords have a bit of a sad sound to them. Major, happy, light. Minor, a little sad, a little dark. But that's just an A to a minor. That's an easy way to get more sounds out of an A chord. The next thing, probably the 7 chords. An A7, start with an A and pick up finger number 3, like that. So what you're doing is, where you're holding string number 3 at the 2nd fret, just pick that finger up, which will give you that open string. And there's your A, there's an A7. Just play it as you normally would. An A7 adds a 4th tone to the note and gives it sort of a bluesy feel. That's an A or an A major to an A7. Alright, it doesn't stop there. There are also A minor 7 chords. Alright, so we're starting from an A. For the A minor, we pick up finger number 4 and put finger number 1 there. And lift finger number 3 so that you end up pressing with finger 1, 2nd string at the 1st fret, and with finger 2, we've got the 4th string at the 2nd fret. And that's the only 2. Don't touch the others, and this is an A minor 7. If you already know how to play a C chord, you can play a C chord and pick up finger number 3. You can also think of it as an A minor, lift finger number 3. And if you were to go from an A to an A minor 7, you'd get this. So now that'll give you an A minor, and an A minor 7, and an A7. All off just the A major shape. It doesn't stop there. You get into what they call sus chords. Now, not that you really need to know this, but a sus chord means it's a suspended chord. Your chords are made up of a first, third, and fifth, typically. When you suspend the third and replace it with a 4, don't worry about the theory behind that right now. This is the sound you get. You go from your A major to, there's a sus 4. And all you have to do, if you're using fingers 2, 3, and 4, is finger 4, which is on the second string at the 2nd fret. You slide it up to the 3rd fret. So here's the movement in that chord. And that will give you the sound. Usually it's played like this. Something like that. Now that is a major to a sus 4 movement. Again, it's just right here, all in the A chord. Slide your 4th finger up. Let's say all right, you can also suspend the 3rd and replace it with the 2nd. That's called an A sus 2. That one's easy to play as well. Go to your A shape, and this time we just pick finger number 4 up. So here's the movement with that one. 2nd string, 2nd fret to the open string. So that will give you this sound. Now, if you want to get some really cool sounds, here's where you start really sounding like a pro. If you'll combine the sus 2 and the sus 4 with the major chord, you get something like this. Does that sound familiar? That is a major, sus 2, major, sus 2, sus 4, and the movement there would be major, major, sus 2, major, sus 2, sus 4. It's dun dun dun. A little sloppy there. That's mixing up the major with the sus 2 and the sus 4, and just experiment with that and you can come up with some really cool stuff. You've heard that in a lot of songs, I promise you. And once you learn that and learn how to do it, when you hear it, you'll know what they're doing. You might not know if they're playing an A sus or the D, but you will recognize that movement if you'll work on that one. From there, let's see, we've got the sus 2, the sus 4, the sus 2 and 4. Another way to play an A chord, fingers 1, 2, 3, fingers 2, 3, 4. You can also play it as though you're barring with just one finger. And when I do that, sometimes I'll use that as a quick transition if I'm going between an A and a B minor. I just play it with one finger. And when I do that, normally I touch the bottom string, so I don't play that. Because if you get all of them and hit it, that is an A with an F sharp, A, B, C, D, E, F. I guess that's an A6 because you've got a F sharp in there. So I guess that makes it a A6, which is a usable chord. But when I'm doing it most of the time, I'll touch the E string, the little string right there. I'll just kind of touch it so that If I hit it, it doesn't ring, you don't hear it. That's another way to play the A chord. That is extremely useful when, say you're playing a song in the key of D, and you're probably going to go from D to A to B minor. Well, you've already got your... You could play it like this, but there's a lot of movement to go from here to this to that. And it's easier and quicker just to go right like that. Much easier. So there's a third way to play the A major. You can also put different tones in the bass. Most of the time, if you play an A chord, you're going to strum the bottom 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's putting an A in the bass right there. That's an A. Now, doesn't have to be. You could also strum all 6 and put an E in the bass. That's a slash chord. That's written like A/E. That is an A chord with an E in the bass. And an E is part of an A chord. When you press these 3 strings right here, what you're playing is an A, the open chord, E, A, and C sharp. Then of course you hit an E again on that open string up there. But instead of having an A in the bass with the bottom 5, you can strum all 6 of them and get E in the bass. It adds a little more to it, especially slash chords are handy when you don't have a bass player. If you have a bass player, most of the time you probably want to let him do his job and don't play those so much. I won't say don't play them at all, but don't dwell on them. Don't pound slash chords to death if you have a bass player, because that's his area. Don't step on the bass player's toes. But you can play with E in the bass. A little more bassy kind of sound, if bassy is a word. Bottom 5, all 6. That's one inversion of that. You can also play an A using that one finger and put a C sharp in the bass, and that'll give you this. That's good for sometime you want to kind of walk up, you're about to change chords, you're going like A. You hear that movement, and then maybe to a D. You're like A, C sharp in the bass, D. It just gives you a little movement within the chord, and you know that it's a little bass line. You can hear movement, you can tell something's going on instead of just say, whoa. Okay, straight. Now we'll put the C sharp in the bass and walk it up. Just adds a little something. And I guess finally for this lesson, before we wrap this up, I'm going to show you a major 7. This one's pretty easy. Start with your A shape again. And this time we're going to lift finger number 3 and put finger number 1. The movement will be here. When you're playing an A, you've got this. We're going to put finger 1 on the 3rd string, 1st fret. And that sounds a little dissonant right now, but when you play it in it, that's a major 7. So you get this. That's a great jazz chord, the major 7s. This is an A major 7. And you'll hear this move. There is a particular band who does a song that YouTube will flag you in a heartbeat if you try to do a version of it or show somebody how to play it, but one lick of it, and this is in other songs too. This is a major to a major 7 to a 7 movement. And it goes like this. There's a major 7. There's the A7. It's just a walk down. What you're doing is you got A major, or A major 7, A7, and you've heard that in other songs. But that's a nice little dun dun dun. Just more ways to jazz up an A chord, and other things you can do with it instead of just a static A. And I know when you're beginning, you're proud of yourself if you can pull that off. I remember all this. Oh man, when I could actually play it, that's how I learned it. And then I learned it this way, and it's easier because these three fingers and these three fingers are smaller. They take up less space. It's easier to get them all right there. I have seen people also play the A like this, where they switch those fingers so they've got these two right on it and only that one's back a little bit. You can play it that way as well. In fact, if you're going from an A to an A major, you could do that. Or excuse me, from A major to an A major 7, that would be a good way to do it. But it's always worked for me with this. I encourage you that way because as you start making the A-shaped bar chord, that's an A. To go to the B, you just slide that up and bar. There's your B, which is your C, D, E. That's enough for now, but do not shy away from bar chords. Most of these things, when you learn one shape, you get to play one chord. With bar chords, when you learn that one shape, you can play a lot of chords with the same shape. You just have to know where to start. So, with your future development in mind, I encourage you to play it with fingers 2, 3, and 4. So recap really quickly. A or A major, A minor, A7. You can also play it like that. Just pick that finger up. An A minor 7, an A sus 4, an A sus 2. Here's one I don't know that I touched on. A with a A on the high end. That's good to end the song here. Playing your A with E in the bass. A little deeper boom kind of sound to it. And then A with C sharp in the bass. And then of course the A major 7. That should be more than enough to keep you busy for a little while. And any song that you're working on or playing right now, when you get into the A, try some of these. Try a few. Try working that in. Do your little sus thing. Just work those in. That's once, of course, you got to get the hang of the chord to begin with. But when you start working some of these other things in and a little bit of movement within the chord, that's when you'll really start to sound like a professional. You will really step up and be playing music that people want to listen to. So be encouraged. I just laid a lot out there. Hopefully this little up-close shot that this camera gives you will help with that. I'll have the chords, the diagrams. I'll put those probably up in the corner right here, most likely. And with that, study hard. You are on your way.